Okay, the 2015 Zen. Whether you're a first-time beginner that's learning your first roll and you want to get down a river from the put into the takeout, right side up and in control as easy as possible, or if you're an expert and you want to be the fastest person on the water and zip around on ferries, run some really hard stuff, this Zen has the performance to do all that. So here's how we put this boat together. Let's talk about the overall performance first. The Zen comes in three sizes: a small, a medium, and a large. You're looking at the medium right here. This boat is 8 feet and 8 inches long, so it's a relatively long boat. It's got a long water line with a really smooth rocker in the profile in the hull. That gives you a very fast, stable, and predictable boat. It's also a wide planing hull, which gives it a lot of initial stability. It feels very stable right out of the gate when you get in the boat. The hull on this boat, talking more about that, is a complete planing hull, and there's a reason that we put a full planing hull on the river running boat. Number one, it's more stable. Number two, it's much higher performing. When you catch eddies, it really carves in. When you peel out, it really carries its speed out. You can get across for ferries a lot quicker and easier with less strokes. But what's also really nice about it is if you want to front surf a wave, it is a much nicer front surf than a narrower hull or a displacement hull. If you're familiar with the original Zen was quite a bit lower volume than this Zen. We've added quite a bit of volume over the previous Zen for the reason to make it more user-friendly for beginners and also make it more creakable. We found that a lot of people were really enjoying the performance, the high performance of the Zen hull, but the lower volume deck and profile was not something that they were as comfortable on hard water with. So we decided to raise this parting line up. So this parting line is much higher than it was on the original Zen. It's still a relatively low profile boat, meaning it's not a really tall big boat like the Karma. And one of the reasons for that is by keeping it a little bit lower, it turns easier, it maneuvers easier in the white water. You don't have the water pushing against the sides as much, which can push you offline, or if you're trying to correct, can prevent the boat from making the turn in the white water. So this boat is still very easy and extremely easy to turn in white water and control. Alright, from a river running perspective, we added a lot more volume, like I said. That does two things. It keeps the stern from loading up, so the stern has plenty of volume to stay on the surface if you're coming out of a drop. The bow has more volume, but it also has more rocker in the bow as well. This does two things. One, paddling downstream, the bow is much drier than the last Zen, and it is one of the driest keep your boat on the surface boats out there in the market today. The feeling you get when you're sitting in this boat and paddling downstream, it's a very confidence-inspiring feeling, and it comes from the fact that the bow stays on the surface so easily, that it's a dry ride. And then consequently, when you're running really hard stuff or creaking, keeping the bow up on boofs, it's like a dream. It lands and it carries its speed out in an awesome way. Really fun to paddle. Let's talk about the inside of the boat. It's the Jackson Kayak boat armor outfitting. Of course, you're starting with the bulkhead system, the Unishock bulkhead, which allows you to adjust your bulkhead from inside the boat, making it really tight when you're ready to go. Loosen it up if you want to stretch your legs out, something you can do from just popping your skirt off. It's also important to remember that we've put these 3-inch thick foam pillars on top of the bulkhead. The purpose of these is to take up the entire space around the bulkhead. If you've got really short legs and you pull the bulkhead all the way up to you, this foam helps make sure that there's no space all the way around. I'm pretty short. I have a 28-inch inseam, size 8 feet. All I do is get in and push the bulkhead down a little bit, and this foam is perfect for me. If you're tall and have long legs, you're going to need to trim some of the foam out if you want to use the foam. But the foam is really nice to have in there. It both makes the bulkhead feel really solid, and it also just covers the entire inside of the boat. You'll also notice that Jackson Kayak has U-channels in our boat. We call this our U-channel or our dashboard. This U-channel is thermoformed and shaped in a way to be extremely rigid. It adds to the foam pillar, which adds the vertical support on the bow for pinning situations. But this the U-channel, the plastic U-channel, adds a lot of additional rigidity, and that's also what the bulkhead cleat is attached to. Of course, you have several places for attaching things. You've got a bungee up top, which I like to clip on a throw bag to. You've got a water bottle holder here in front of the cleat. You have another water bottle holder on the seat as well. You'll also notice that the 2015 Jackson kayak boats don't have any weld marks on the bottom. And the reason is because these tracks are adhered to the bottom, they're not welded to the bottom. What this does is eliminates potential breaking points on the welds. We've had no breakage in any hulls since we have done this as of the recording of this today. It's amazing. We also have lowered the overall seating position in 2015. You'll see if you compare the 2015 track with these fiberglass rods are molded right in, you'll notice that these fiberglass rods are lower to the boat than they were in 2014. What this does is allow us to lower the seat even more by about a ½ an inch, putting your center of gravity as low as possible. If you decide you want to raise yourself up in the seat, of course you've got a Jackson Kayak Sweet Cheeks that you can drop in there and you can raise yourself up. But the starting point is down low and very stable. I think you'll like the seating position. Alright, when you're paddling a Jackson Kayak 2015 Zen, one of the things you're going to want to do is determine your best seating position. The place to put your seat on the Zen is right in the middle. If you find that you like to have the bow floating a little bit higher and being a little bit looser, then move the seat a notch or two back. If you like the bow being down and driving, then move the seat forward. Now the one thing I caution you, if you do move the seat way forward on a Zen, by loading the bow's going to start tracking more instead of being free. It's going to be a little harder to control that way. There are people that do it, like it that way, and they want it to track. If you want the boat to perform that way, then move the seat forward. Most people seem to prefer middle or one notch back. It seems to be the ideal spot for most people that have paddled the Zen so far. But go ahead and try a couple positions, but definitely start in the middle position. Of course, our Sherlock backband, if you've ever paddled Jackson Kayak, you know how to use it. I do want to demonstrate one time so that you remember the proper way to do it. Grab one rope with each hand, lean forward, pull straight forward, lean back, and you're cinched in. If you want to loosen it up, you can just pop one side if you want. It makes it that much easier to tighten back up again, or you can pop both sides if you prefer. There's a new feature that we've added to the Sherlock backband that I think you'll really like. It allows you to adjust the backband up and down. On the back side of the backband attached to the seat are two bungees. You pull it and pull it down if you want to pull the backband down, or you loosen and pull them up if you want to bring it up. This gives you a couple inches of adjustability to get it exactly in the right place in your lumbar. It depends on what place you like to be comfortable. I usually keep it pretty high. I know a lot of people like to get it as low as possible. Under any condition, you can get it where you want it. That's the cool part. Of course, we've got a drain plug in the back, but we also have these 4 drain holes in the cockpit rim. This is an easy way to get a small amount of water out. You can shoulder the boat, put it upside down, tip it forward. The water will actually catch in our cockpit rim, run down and run out the holes. You can get most of the water out and the most amount of water out simply by using the drain holes in the cockpit rim. It's very cool. The grab handles, you've got 5 attachment points in a pinning situation for tying your boats on the roof, and each one is extremely strong. Each of these gray grab handles are stainless steel overmolded with plastic. These are much stronger than the kayak themselves, so in a situation if we're attaching a carabiner, pinning or whatever, these handles are extremely strong. The kayak will actually fail before the grab handle. Same is true with the security bar. For tying your boat on the roof, if you don't want to drop your boat off the roof, I always recommend a strap goes through the security bar or through a grab handle. And then of course, if you're helping a swimmer, the rear handle is going to be very helpful as well. Each kayak comes with 4 hip pad shims. I'm 165 pounds in a medium. I use 2 shims on each side on a medium. I would use 1 shim on each side in a small. You've got a nice pocket. You just tuck it in, Velcro it down, slap it in, and you're good to go. So you can use no shims, 1 shim, or 2 shims, And if for any reason you decide that you need more because you're like really thin for the boat, or you just like to have hip pads that are extremely tight, you can order more of these hip pad shims online at jacksonkayak.com or get them from your local dealer. In the spirit of being made locally or here in the USA, of course, one Nalgene water bottle made in the USA. Another unique feature for the Jackson Kayak Zen, of course, is it's GoPro ready. You've got the GoPro slider mount in the front. It's important to note that you can take the slider off if you want, if you're not using it, and then you just have the brass insert. You also, if you want to make it permanent and not twist at all, you can pull the peel and stick off when you put the mount back on, get it all the way down tight, and screw it in, and it will be locked down super tight. It comes with the peel and stick not pulled off, just so that you have the option of taking it off if you want, or strapping it down. Awesome. This boat was designed with beginners in mind, super easy to roll, comfortable, just a great ergonomic package. You'll like the way it feels, lots of room for your hands to paddle if the deck isn't in your way. Just an awesome boat overall for just a great feeling in the water. Not too much boat, but enough boat to stay on the surface. For experts, whether you want to win an extreme race and be the fastest person in the water, or you just want something that's really fun to get down the river and adds a whole new element to your river running and creeking, and that element being speed out of drops, carvability, and just super nimble control, the new Zen's for you. 2015 Zen, it rocks.